I don't know what's currently like. I know, I don't think anything was really pushed career direction kind of thing. Exactly. The only thing that annoyed me is they kept saying, you know, I'll think about think about career, what you want to do. You know, you got to go to college, got to go to uni, and I'm thinking, 16 years old, you don't know what you want to do.
Yeah.
My honestly, my advice to any kid is like, do what you're good at, and you will get really good grades.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the only thing that actually matter is English and maths.
Yeah.
Because even when you've got foreigners coming in going for jobs, they have to have English and maths at a certain level. Those are the only two that actually really matter. The rest of it, do what you enjoy, and you'll do really well.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. But I mean, I went to quite a lot of schools anyway. I went to like 19 schools. We moved around a lot, and so I saw different types of things pushed in different areas. And when in the last school I went to actually was in a much. I lived with my auntie, and the areas around it were much more affluent, and I noticed that things were more supportive there in terms of the arts. So people were, people that were really good at graphic products, we called it in that school. Two of them are graphic designers now, and they live in Australia. They do well and things like that. So I didn't really see a push for the arts, but the people in that school, the people that were good at art, a couple of them do it as a career. A few people who were good at sports do it as a career. I don't know anybody from that school that does music as a career, but I've had a couple of band members over time. One of them still is one of my band members, where I've had music teachers as band members. And what I will say in terms of music is that now they're so much better at it at a younger age. Like they get taught so much more sort of than we did when we were. I don't know if anybody else is the same age as me, but music class, everybody used to mess around and play on the keyboards and mess around with the instruments. Whereas now, they're phenomenal. Like, younger people now playing. I've got a friend whose son is in a band, and they are outstanding already. Like, what they're doing and how they're playing it, it's really heartfelt, which is great to see in young people. But the skills that they're applying to be able to put that heartfelt music out, it's phenomenal. I cannot believe what I see in younger people music wise. Like, I could never. Do you know what I mean? And it's really, really, really good. The opportunities to perform, I feel like that's not coming from sort of anything government led. It's always charities or funded societies that get together to do that for them. I know they've got that scheme in Ireland. We were talking about that recently, Johnny. So, like, when they're paying musicians, I don't know if it's any other arts, but they're paying musicians to be musicians. So they're giving them a basic wage. I do think that that's only a select amount of people. It's not actually. Yeah. What did we see? It was like, this is going to be a stretch, but I'm thinking either 2 or 20,000, and I can't remember.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was a 2 involved. I don't know what the exact criteria you'd have to meet to be then qualified to be decided due. But it's a step.
There's stuff going on in different places, and I think that is a good start. Here, I mean, can you remember during the lockdown when they were like literally putting posters out saying, like, showing a ballerina moving into doing a data analyst job and stuff? I think there's been a big push as things become more austere in countries. There's always an element of steering the working classes away from doing the arts, because that's not for us to do. It's for the people who are wealthy enough to be able to do arts because they don't need to pay their bills, sort of thing. With that,
there's been a phrase. There's been a phrase in my house for a long time that only rich people can afford to be hippies.
It's quite funny. I've had that label attached to me before. I remember once I posted about a boxing match and somebody was like, "Katrina, that's not very hippie of you," and I was like, "That's not something I'm trying to be. It's just something you told me, mate." Like, I don't even know what that means, but it's quite funny. I think it's an aesthetic thing because I have hair braids. So if you can see them, but because I have hair braids, I once got asked in a job interview, "Are you an activist?" And I was like, "Why?" I mean, why? They were like, "Because you're hair braid." It's ridiculous. I remember I used to work in recruitment, and I worked in one business where we used to have to get the management from different departments that I was recruiting for. They used to come and do interviews, and some of the higher up managers, they had a bit of a boys' club. They all went playing golf together. People got given jobs through the back door, literally, and I was given paperwork on the Monday saying, this person, and this person's been offered a job over the weekend, and I'm like, what? Have they got any idea? Have they got paperwork? And I remember once we'd have recruitment events, and people would walk in with tattoos on their faces, and some of the people would be like, "I'm not hiring him." I'd be like, "You're not interviewing him then. Like, somebody else is interviewing him then. You're not."
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous. It has still been illegal for a really long time to do that. And I had a senior manager at one place that I worked at, quite a reputable white collar company. And she was one of those people, she had a BBC accent, and she was one of those people that you always wondered how they got into such a senior position. And then I became a peer of hers, so we were at the same level all of a sudden. I was like, whoa, how did I get into such a senior position? But I remember we were interviewing somebody for our respective teams, and we decided to interview together in case one of us wanted somebody that the other person, was comfortable not having. So, dog just drinking some water. So she turned people away for having an earring, she turned a guy away for having an earring in, and all sorts of stuff. And she'd come into work, and I was on her team before I became her peer, and she'd look at us, the women, and she'd be like, she'd say to one of my colleagues, like I'll not say names, but what's up with you? Put a bit of lippy on. And the men had to wear ties. We didn't have so much of a dress code. There was much more scope for what the women could wear, but if the guys on the team didn't have a tie on, they would get sent down to, I'm about to make it really obvious where I worked, but they get sent down to the staff shop, and they'd have to buy a tie to come back into the office that we were in doing recruitment. So it was really, it's snobbery. It's the snobbery that's been, mentioning politics for it is a really good thing, and I will not get on a tangent, I promise, because you know exactly who I am as a person. But that is why the reason they have done that in politics is to snobbishly gatekeep politics from the working classes and from people in creative industries or with creativity. Anybody that isn't wearing a suit and a tie with a BBC accent was being gate-kept out of it. That's why politics is made to be boring. That's why it's made to have... That's why they use words that even they don't understand half of the time. They put vocabulary on it that other people don't want to hear. So people then don't have interest in it. So then they don't do it, because apathy is the downfall of every country, but it also keeps the wrong people in power. I'll stop there.
Just have a moment, take a drink.
Yeah.
Water.
I'll stop there. I can do that all day.
No ice, because, fuck ice. Anyway.
but back to the music and the art.
I've had many thoughts about this. I've even made a list to get my thoughts straight. Because there are pros and cons to it in my art world. So, but first off, I'm not going to lie. A couple of months ago, when it's like suddenly jumped up in like believability and stuff a little while ago.
Yeah.
Like last year kind of thing. It was like, oh, it's not very good. It's not very good. And all of a sudden, it's like, holy cow, this is really realistic now. I really felt like, why am I bothering? I just give up drawing now, because people just type in something and they can have whatever they want. Why am I bothering? Like I said, it takes me at least 35 hours, or 135 hours sometimes, to do something. Why do I bother? And to be honest, sales haven't been great since lockdown. Lockdown itself was great because I whole support artists now. Fantastic, best year I ever had for my artwork. But then we had the cost of living crisis, and everything went. and still suffering that, really. But one thing I felt more recently is it kind of feels like the scenes when digital art kind of became a threat to traditional art. And how it made things more accessible and easy because people just do it on their iPads or whatever the hell they've got and stuff, and and I know easy to follow templates or whatever. I don't know. I still don't do it, so I don't really know how it all works. And yeah, I did sort of feel sort of threatened by it at the time, but then people started getting really good at it, and you kind of couldn't tell the difference between hand drawn and digital drawn, and I was like, oh crap. But as with anything, I feel like now it's found its place alongside other forms of art instead. It's not taking over like I was worried it was going to. No, it hasn't. And I actually thought back the other day about this and how it makes me think how painters must have felt when photographs were first invented. They must have thought, oh, why have I spent my entire life dedicated to making immaculate lifelike paintings when people just do a flipping photograph now? But it hasn't. We still paint people now. I still draw now. It's an adaptation, and it's something we learn to live with. It's just another branch as opposed to taking over. It's adding. It's like growing another finger on your hand, kind of thing. There's more. It's just more available. And with AI, I actually think I'm in the, I don't know how to words, like good grouping of artists, or lucky even grouping of artists to be in the fact that I'm self-employed doing it. Because I know firsthand, even a couple of years back now, when AI first started coming, like the whole, I can't remember which Marvel film it is, when Robert Downey Jr. was made to look like 20 years younger.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that scene. I can't think which film it actually is right now.
Yeah,
there's a flashback to begin with. I'm like, what? It's a digital memory you made.
Great, because those of us that are old enough to remember Robert Downey Jr. when he actually was the age he would be in that film, nothing like that. It's crazy.
It's crazy though. But back then, because I know someone who's actually works in the film industry in the graphic design department, and she said someone she knew, apparently he saw what was coming, what we now see. He saw beforehand, and he's like, he literally quit his job there and then, retrained, and now works in the NHS.
Wow!
Because he's like, there's no point. There's literally no point. The computer can just do what we would take hours to do. There's literally no point. And the sad thing is, I actually read another thing on LinkedIn. I wish I'd saved it now. God, I wish I'd saved it. It's something like 40.6%, something like that, really, really high. In the past year, like since last February or last March, art people have lost their jobs to AI.
Wow.
And expect it to get even higher in the coming year and whatnot. It's like, basically, if you're in a business, being in the arts sucks, don't do it. If you're independent, you can keep going.
Yeah.
It's a really weird thing, because you think, oh, big business, salaries and safety, and like, no, they are losing they're dropping like flies, basically. And one thing I was actually going to say was, like my fear thing, why should I bother? I can just give up. Because I'm just thinking, you know what? People will always want the human touch.
Uh-huh.
We are humans. Humans will always want the human touch. Even like those who say, I don't like people, and they've got, the crazy cat lady, would she still want some AI art on her wall? Or would she want someone's painted on her wall? She would still want the human touch. And one of my birthdays a while ago, I was actually really lucky. It's about an hour away from where I live. My favourite painter, Ben Jeffrey. Hi Ben, if you're watching. He had a gallery, and I was like, it was my birthday weekend as well. So like, I'm going, because he's going to do a meet and greet. So like, I'm going. I get to see his artwork in person, not just on my phone. See the actual things for real, and I get the chance to talk to him. It's the human touch.
Yeah.
people are always going to want that. That's why I think we shouldn't be too worried. I think, yeah, things are going to shift, and yeah, certain things are going to drop, like I just said about people losing their jobs in the big industries, but it's not going to disappear. We're not going to disappear.
I mean, does it?
So I don't really have a mixed emotion about AI, about AI, to be honest. I think that what I'm mixed on it here is, if AI were being used properly in a way that wasn't so damaging to so many habitats, wasn't causing so much of a problem to where people live and where things live, if that was being done properly, I think I'd be more supportive of the progress of it. But because of what damage it's doing, if somebody is putting 500 prompts in to get the right perfect picture, because it can take a lot of prompts, what those 500 prompts has done, I'm never going to be on board with for that. So that aspect of it really kills it for me. I think that there is a possibility that AI could not do that. I think there's got to be a way that it doesn't use that much water. There's got to be a way that it's not damaging people's entire towns, right? And if that can be put into place, I don't think that the progress of it is an awful concept if being used for the right things. But using it for arts and creativity, when it could be used to make it so that we've got time to do arts and creativity, I'm like, what kind of dystopia is this? That's the thing for me. So, like, I saw a thing the other day. In fact, I saw another thing the other day, which I'm going to mention first. So, have any of you seen the advert? And it's showing the, was it Pepsi advert with Britney Spears and Beyonce and Pink on it? And it pointed out how many jobs. So it showed all the crowd. If that's AI, that's all that. That's each of those people not feeding their family or whatever. Every person with a camera. Every person that does the running back and forwards, every person that does the makeup, every person that does the hair, every person that paints the sets, all of those jobs are out, so that many people not being employed because of AI being able to be used. Again, that's a big compromise to me that I can't get on board with. And then there's there's the theft of other people's work. Then there is it is replacing people. So the BBC introducing in, was it West Midlands? They had a top artist that was an AI artist, fully AI artist, Pappy Lamore or something. And I've seen a couple of times on different BBC introducings and other things. So at the top of the charts, it's been an AI artist. And when you can type in a prompt into AI and get a full song written. And before we knew all the damage it was doing, I remember I was working in a bar and one of my colleagues had ChatGPT, and we'd all just been talking about 15-minute cities, and we were like, George, get it to write a song about 15-minute city, and it wrote a song within a second, and we played it and sang it, and it was thought-provoking. It was nice. We just made a 4-chord song out of it. And I was quiet for about a week. I was really sad that this song had been written by AI that had no thought about it, no heart about it, no feeling about it. And I was like, that's really well written. Like, I've performed with people where I've been like, I really loved that line in your song, and they've gone, oh, I used AI to write that. And I've been like, oh, and I've been quite sad then, because it meant so much to me that it had come out of them. It made me think a different thing about them for conveying that feeling. And actually, they didn't convey that feeling. A computer program took it from other people. And that is what I felt. Now, I know that AI is a combination of lots of different things, but it's scraped it from existing poetry. The artwork that's been used, people have said, that's mine. Like, two people, somebody has produced art from AI and somebody else has come and said, that's mine. No. There's been whole things like that. So I think that the people that are pushing it is why I'm concerned. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but if it's the people that are pushing for us to use it so much are not the people that I would listen to for any other type of advice. And then the fact that there are court cases going on where they want to be able to have access for free. The same people that would have taken that would have fined you, Johnny, 20 grand for LimeWire in a song, right? That would have had a teenager paying until now for LimeWire in a song. They now want access for free to all of our music. If it's on a streaming platform, they want to be able to use it to program their AI. And it doesn't wash with me, because if it's the billionaires that are telling us to do it, I don't believe it to be a good thing, because it's so that they can make a load of money and the people at the bottom doing the creating can't. So that's why I don't dig it. Conditionally, if they could make it not theft, more of a, in some way, to be used as an aid and an assistance to something. So if they want to get CGI more perfected but it's not taking away a load of people's jobs, somebody just having an assistance, I don't know, maybe, but it's the damage to the environment for me. I'm never going to be able to get on board with something that means me choosing to have a picture of me in a spacesuit with cat ears. It's not going to be important enough for me to have that other people's local climate can be so damaged.